we are going to study a note from the Council of the Department of State, Mr. Sonnenfeldt. This note was addressed to the Secretary of State Kissinger, Washington, July 21, 1974. For the moment, we don't have the letter, but we have only the analysis. So the counselor mentioned, at least for him, that the message is more paint threatening. So the Soviets know everything about the developments in Cyprus. I mean, the coup, but also the starting point of the invasion. So they don't want what? Less influential in another place in the Middle East, okay? For me, the first point, which is important, is the reference to the paranoid reaction. So they are thinking that there is a larger game and not just a local one. So for the Soviets, Cyprus is only a pawn on the chessboard. They are thinking that someone is playing a larger game, but of course is wrong. They don't care. So this will be a point for their propaganda at the end of the process, and this will influence the maintenance in Greece and also in Cyprus. So the two basic Soviet proposals are what? The withdrawal of Greek military personnel, and of course, the restoration of Makarios. So the first point is they don't want a state in Cyprus which belongs to NATO. One. The second is that they want to use the Soviet Union position, I mean the position of the Soviets in United Nations, to say that Greeks shouldn't be there. Okay? Greeks of Greece, of course. So the counselor mentioned that there is a strange dissociation from the process, which is we have to do something there, which is different. So we understand with this note that the real problem of the Soviets is not the invasion, is the coup. So there is only one threatening element in Brezhnev's letter, and this is a reference in point 1. So you see our two powers acting not only under the roof of the UN, but also through other means. Okay, so they want what? The Greek withdrawal and also the cessation of the interference. So for them, the important point is not to stop the invasion of Cyprus by the Turks, but to restore the situation, in fact, ante-status quo, and to have again Makarios. But in reality, and you see this point is mentioned there, the Soviet point on restoration of Makarios while Sonnenfeldt seems mostly for the record. Interesting, no? Okay. So the last part of the point, restoration of the status of Cyprus as an independent state, it's a classical point, okay? Where they mention just, in fact, the constitution of 60. But another point which is important is, in any case, Brezhnev does not call for withdrawal of Turkish forces. This means what? He merely says the situation has deteriorated as evidenced by the Turkish landings, okay, but he never mentioned precisely that we have to say to Turks, go home. But for the Greeks, yes. So the reality is what? The Soviet Union at that time considers that Cyprus should be in their area. So they are afraid with the coup that Cyprus will be too close to Greece. So NATO, so US. So the letter was only to say that, okay, we see that we have a problem. For us, the solution is very easy. We need 1, no Greeks, 2, Lygeros again. Why? Because they prefer him, because he mentioned all the time, I want to be independent. That's the point. So for them, it's a way to remove the presence of Greeks, to remove the big importance of NATO, to have an independent state with Lygeros at its head. That's why the proposition was what? Some points. The chancellor said we should tell Vorontsov what? We got the letter, okay? So this is efficient, and this is the reality. We studied it. But the most important thing, which is quite different from the position of the Soviets, is that we think the major task now is to bring about the ceasefire. So you see, US want a ceasefire, and the opening of negotiation between Greece and Turkey as proposed by the British. So many things, many different things. 1, negotiations between Greece and Turkey. 2, ceasefire. On the other hand, we have the position of the Soviets, no Greeks, and the restoration of Lygeros. It's not exactly the same point. So they don't care about the invasion. They don't mention we don't want Turks. They just wanted what? The situation before, not the invasion, before the coup. So the situation for the Soviets was good. Now, the invasion of Cyprus by the Turks is interpreted in which way? This is an intervention which is rather positive for Soviets, because they want the situation ante status quo. So you see, it's different. So we are exerting maximum influence on Greece and Turkey by all appropriate means at our disposal. We hope the Soviets will do likewise. We hope. No hope. In fact, we know that there is a duplicity from Soviet Union about this, and we can see it in this note.